Tonight on One News calls for a more patient-centred approach on assisted dying. With only one hospice hosting the procedure, are the opt-out clauses too broad?
That's resulted in patients being ignored, patients being told to go to funeral parlours because that's where they're going anyway.
The scale of the Baltimore Bridge salvage operation revealed.
That is nearly the size of the Eiffel Tower. Shipping containers ripped in half as if they were paper mache.
For the first time, investigators are up close as plans for the massive clean-up get underway. And navigating city streets and swapping branches for power lines. The impact of man on the rest of the mammals is laid bare in a groundbreaking new show. Good evening. There are calls for a more unified, patient-centred approach to end-of-life care. This comes amid concern some dying patients in whānau aren't getting the help and support they need. Health practitioners and organisations can conscientiously object to assisted dying, and only one hospice in the country hosts it on site. Nicole Bremner with part 2 of her series.
For more than 40 years, Totara Hospice has cared for the terminally ill. It also hosts assisted deaths, some for patients with nowhere else to go.
People who are desperate seeking another option because they've been told that their care facility will not support their choice, and they certainly can't have an assisted death anywhere within the care services of those facilities.
That's because facilities like aged residential care and hospices have the right to conscientiously object. Tina McCafferty says it's causing harm.
That's resulted in patients being ignored, patients being told to go to funeral parlours because that's where they're going anyway. So we want to raise a really big conversation around what's happening with organisational conscientious objection.
In addition to seeking more clarity on that, Totara Hospice supports the removal of what it calls the gag clause, preventing doctors bringing up assisted dying with patients. And it wants to see the eligibility period for assisted deaths either extended or dropped altogether. No Totara Hospice staff are involved in the administration of assisted dying, but want patients to have the right to choose.
I don't know why it's so hard for people to accept that a dying person wants to do something in their own way. Why should I be the one to stop them from accessing their own path, their own destiny?
For Catherine Shaw, that path led to her 57-year-old sister Jane's assisted death.
She lost control of everything in her life, but this gave her complete control over her death. Once we got our head around that, we supported her in that because her journey was going to be not a good journey.
The patient is still the driver of their own journey. I'm here to be a GPS system. I'm here to help them navigate what could be a rough road ahead of them.
He's clear about his role, but others see things very differently.
That tension of a basic philosophy of how we operate and this other service that intentionally kills people. And it's a dichotomy that's never fitted together very well.
There's a role there for the ministry and maybe for Te Whatu Ora and for others to support organisations and also health professionals to think through their stances. We need to accept that people have their moral values and that they need to bring those to work. They need to be part of people's work lives.
But resolving such complex ethical issues won't be easy, no matter what the upcoming review explores.
Unfortunately, I think it is still taboo. More people need to talk about it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not a bad thing.
A view shared by others who've observed the process up close.
And Nicole joins me now. Nicole, who protects the rights of patients who are unhappy?
That falls on the Health and Disability Commissioner Morag McDowell, and the latest data from her office is that it's received 17 complaints since the law took effect, and they cover areas like the readiness of facilities to undertake assisted dying, discriminatory attitudes from some providers towards people who are seeking assisted dying, and there's a variable understanding among providers about their obligations when they have a conscientious objection. Now, these are problems that we've been highlighting over the last few days. But the Health and Disability Commissioner also says that the End of Life Choice Act is silent when it comes to conscientious objection within organisations, and that's an ongoing discussion with the Ministry of Health.
I mean, you've talked to a lot of people across the health sector. How divided are they on this issue?
Look, Wendy, there's huge division across this sector. You could say that many people are just poles apart. You know, some health professionals really want to see wider discussion about it. They want to see more openness. They feel that it remains a taboo subject, and that this is leading to a harm for patients and their families. They're just not getting the information or the help they need at a time they're dealing with terminal illness and huge stress. On the other hand, we have the view of people who believe that anything that hastens death is effectively equates to killing. So there's a huge gulf, and not an easy one to navigate through.
Such a sensitive subject, and as you say, views deeply held on both sides. What can a review achieve?
Well, look, no matter what everybody's personal views on assisted dying, absolutely no one I've talked to, and I've talked to many, many people on these stories, think that patients being forced to meet an assisted dying practitioner in a car park or at a beach is either a good thing, that nobody thinks it's right, or that it's the intention of the law. So there are many now hoping that the Ministry of the Health and the government will set really robust guidelines and really robust terms of reference for this upcoming review, so that they can provide clarity to everyone across the sector, everybody working in the sector, and to ensure that everyone's on the same page so we have patients treated fairly and consistently.
A lot of work ahead. Thank you, Nicole Brenner.